They went after Nasrallah, and lots of people didn't think they were going to go after Nasrallah. So Khamenei apparently, right after Nasrallah was killed, went into hiding. And so Israel's ability to track senior leaders in Iran is not as good as it is to track Hezbollah leaders in Lebanon, which is right next door. So they would have the problem actually finding where he was. Remember that the distance between Iran and Israel is significant. It's the same distance as between Houston and Los Angeles. So the ability to fly airplanes and be able to take real-time targeting is not the same as in Lebanon. So the challenge for the Israeli military is much greater in Iran. I do think, though, that what you're going to see is something where the Israelis are going to take their time. There's no need for them to rush. They can assess the damage, take care of what's going on. They still have a campaign going on in both Gaza and Lebanon. There's no rush on what they need to do in terms of retaliation. There will probably be discussions with allies, to include the United States, to make sure that the response does not go beyond the Iranian borders. But again, I think that there are all sorts of options because the Iranian defenses are essentially helpless in the face of the kinds of military capabilities that the Iranians have, or the Israelis have.
Our Martha Raddatz, Chief Global Affairs Correspondent, on the phone with us now. Martha, we were just talking about Iran, how deep Israel could strike, what would be the plan, short-term, long-term, or is it an immediate action going straight toward the country's leader? We were talking about Khamenei in hiding. You have been to Iran several times. What are your thoughts as you are watching these live pictures? Does Khamenei continue to hide? Is he in any way carrying out instructions? What are your thoughts at this moment as we are watching just an unprecedented time right now with fears of escalation, a wider war, and tremendous risk for both countries?
Well, Kara, I think being in hiding for Khamenei and many senior leaders is wise at this point. They have been watching what's happened with Hezbollah and Hamas and seeing what is happening. So we were told as of yesterday by a senior official that many of those leaders were already in hiding. I think they likely knew what was coming, certainly on their part, and they likely know what is coming now, so that will probably continue. Iran, as Steve rightly pointed out, doesn't really have the defense systems in place.
Daniel Hagari, who's the chief spokesman for the IDF, as you just mentioned, went on TV, a national broadcast, announcing that for now there is this all clear, telling people they can sort of begin moving out of those bomb shelters. He told them to stay close. He also said that some of those missiles apparently hit installations. We do not know, and he said they are not aware of any casualties at this point. That does not mean that there aren't casualties at this point. The one thing that he certified, and Martha just said it, is that there will be a response, that Israel has a plan. And typically what has been happening in the previous attacks, like the one against Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah in Lebanon last week, the IDF presents a series of options to the government. The cabinet sits over it, and then they decide what to do. That's what also happened with last night's incursion into Lebanon. So the plans are on the table. The question is, how far does the Israeli government want to take this? Just yesterday, Israel's Prime Minister Netanyahu spoke publicly in English, directing his comments to the Iranian people, saying that the regime could fall soon. And so one of the things that we've begun to hear from Israeli analysts at this point is a call for a strike on the Bandar Abbas oil port and terminal on the Persian Gulf in Iran. It's a huge terminal that controls much of the oil that goes into that country and out of that country. And if that is hit, that would cause catastrophic economic damage to Iran, and analysts are telling me it could possibly topple the regime. That's how significant it could be. That would be a major strike. They're also talking about attacking other possible energy installations as well. Again, this is a cabinet decision, as Steve said, and Martha as well. It does not have to be.
Sirens off again. Looking at the great synagogue here in Jerusalem. Raphael Har, UnitedNation.com, reporting from the center of Jerusalem. We've got the sirens blaring again. People coming from the south, Jordan, mountains behind that building. I see them in the morning from here. And then we're looking down King George Street. There is a great synagogue. It usually takes on the sirens. Sirens went off and you see how long it takes from siren to the rockets, missiles, drones, like this projectiles of whatever they're throwing at them.
Coming in right now, this just in, as they say in the news world, shortly after this terrorist attack started by the Iranian government against the state of Israel, the Israeli military spokesperson, Daniel Hagari, came out and said, I want to make sure I get his quote right. He says, the fire from Iran will have consequences. A previous quote used much stronger language, saying that the Iranians haven't seen anything from what Israel is planning to retaliate with. And more so, the IDF has reported that they don't see any additional rockets fired towards the state of Israel. And what's amazing here is even though this incredibly large barrage, again, more than 200 rockets fired from Iran at the state of Israel, even all of them were fired, Israeli air defense systems were capable of shooting down almost everything that was aimed at civilian population in this country. We don't know of any civilian casualties or injured at all yet at this moment. And it shows the efficacy of the system. MADA, the Israeli Red Cross, or Israeli David Star, says that 2 civilians were lightly injured in the Tel Aviv area. And a couple other people around the country were injured falling on their way to bomb shelters. So again, yes. An incredible and unprecedented attack on the state of Israel, parallel only to the attack that took place on April 14th, where we believe there were much more, close to 500 projectiles that were fired towards Israel. And again, an incredibly successful night for Israeli air defense systems in shooting down those rockets before they could hurt civilians in the state of Israel. Of course, all of that is put in a slightly dimmer light, or more negative light, when you look at the successful or somewhat successful terrorist attack in Jaffa, leaving 6 murdered Israeli civilians by 2 unknown gunmen. Definitely terrorists, but we're just not sure what terrorist organization they're affiliated yet with today. If anyone's tuning in just now, again, we're going live from here. Yair and I are out of our homes after a night or quite a while in the bomb shelters in an unprecedented attack by the Iranians with over 200 rockets fired towards the state of Israel. Currently, no one was injured, which is nothing short of a miracle and a testament to the efficacy of the Iron Dome system. But an incredible, incredible night, dramatic, but at the same time, positive in its outcome so far.
Yes, Mati, just a few updates. We have more government officials in Israel stating that Israel now has the legitimacy to strike in the heart of Iran hard. And this backs the statements from the IDF that the IDF, the Israeli Air Force, has plans ready to strike strategic and military targets in Iran in response to this attack. This is the situation now on the ground. We are waiting for the Israeli response to this attack of 180 ballistic missiles towards the Jewish state. And unless we have any recent updates, Mati, I think it's time for us to conclude this live. I would like to wish all of our viewers a blessed night here from Israel, and tomorrow, Happy New Year, Shana Tova. The people of Israel is resilient. The people of Israel is strong. Despite all these attacks, life goes on. And we know that we will win. We will live here. We will have a future. We are not afraid, Mati. And we will have a great night. So great night to all of you.